I seem to be drinking on this. Today is day 21 and it's a free day. I get to talk about whatever I want. And at first I was going to talk about Hugh, but then I went and looked at my tags, and if you're looking at my friends page or my journal page, you'll see in the important information, and right under it is all my tags, and they're under cut because there's a lot of them. Well, I've made almost 300 posts about you. So I thought instead that I would talk about House and House Cameron. I saw my first episode of House back in November of 2004, and it was Paternity, which was the second episode. And I knew nothing about ships or OTPs or any of that. I just knew that, one, this was a kick-ass show, and two, House and the little girl doctor, because that's the only I couldn't remember her name. I mean, I remembered House because that's easy. Like he says, it's a noun. Just I don't know, the way they looked at each other and the way they interacted was just so interesting and so hot. So I started watching and was immediately hooked because House just did things that, you know, you really had never seen on TV up to that point, especially the one, Maternity, where he basically decided one of those babies had to die, and I was like, holy crap. And then there was Cameron, and she, you know, ethical dilemma, and she had a hard time telling, and then House was like, you know, you could tell that he kind of wanted to protect her. And then suddenly in subsequent episodes, he's asking all these questions about her, trying to get information from her, and she wouldn't give him the information. And just the way they would look at each other was just like, oh my God. And then when she went to quit, well, first when she stood up to him about, you know, what is going on, they were in the lab and she had that red sweater on, and she just kind of got right up there to him. And before that she'd been sort of, you know, shy and a little timid, and then suddenly here she is, and she's like, she's got a backbone, and she's tough, and she's like, you know, what is going on? You know, because he was like, why do you like me? And she's like, that's kind of a sad question, isn't it? And it's like he couldn't understand why this very beautiful, very smart woman would be interested in him. And I thought, sorry, neck hurts. That was just so, I love that scene. And then he walks out. I did not want him to walk out. I wanted him to stay and just grab her and kiss her. And I was like, this ain't normal. I should not be so attached to these two characters and what happens between them. But I had no idea because I was not going online at this point. I didn't even know there were, you know, places online where you could talk about House and Cameron and how amazing they are together. All I knew about were teaching sites where you had to learn crap and get points and towards your recertification. And, you know, the internet was for you to do your email. That was it. But then I think another thing that really grabbed me was when she came to his apartment and she said, I have two ways of handling things. And she left, and he would not look at her. And I was like, oh man, look at her, shake her hand, do something, kiss her, do something. And I thought, I have never reacted this way to two characters before. This is so weird. And I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't say anything about it because I thought my reaction to these two was a little abnormal. And then they went out on their date, and he, tried to get her not to like him. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? You have got this hot woman sitting across from you, and she wants you and she likes you. Do something. But when he got her the corsage, and he said, it's lame, isn't it? And Wilson said, I think she likes lame. And she did. And I kind of kept along, thinking, okay, something's going to happen. And then Stacy came in. And I thought, well, I love Celia Ward, and maybe this will be good, but it just didn't have the same spark. And then at the end of season 1, when Cameron said, that it's okay, I didn't think you could love, but you can, you just can't love me. And I'm like, oh no. And I want him to run and stop her. And then season 2 started, and she got real feisty. And then, of course, she took drugs and hunting and called Chase. No, Cameron, you were supposed to call House. And of course Chase took advantage of her. I mean, my God, the woman was high and you weren't. Show a little restraint, dude. And at the time I did not know that Jennifer Morrison and Jesse Spencer were dating. And they were very serious, apparently. And I guess the writers or whatever wanted to give Cameron and Chase something. I don't know what was going on with that whole scene where she's high and he comes in, and I'm sorry, but you don't take advantage of someone who's on drugs when you yourself are sober. You put the brakes on and you say no. You're not thinking, you're not coherent, you don't realize what you're doing. Let's get some, let's sit down and talk, and or I'm gonna go, and when you're sober then you call me. I had a real problem with that. But then came the end of season 2, and robot sex. Hotter than the real Huddy sex. Truth, it was. Then season 3 came along, and we got that fantastically hot kiss. I love it when she reaches up and touches his face, and he just jerks very slightly, like he's had this shot of electricity go through him. And then it just kind of went to hell after that. And then by season 6, she was like, I was in love with you, I was an idiot, and before that, in season 4 and 5, they were kind of friends, and he sought her out, and she was like, I guess, the female version of Wilson, and, I took what I could get at that point, and then by that time, I was online, and I was kind of slowly working my way up to becoming part of the communities and like on fan forum and stuff. And then season 6 comes along and she's gone. But the best part was during the final episode when House hallucinated about not Cuddy, no, she was nowhere to be seen. Ah, sorry, I hate Cuddy. I'm just going to put it out there. Hate her. She physically and verbally abused House. And yes, House verbally abused her, but he never did anything to put her in physically in harm's way. So I had a real problem with that. This is a disabled character, and she was playing pranks on him because she couldn't stay home with her baby. You know what? When Cameron didn't work out, choose someone else. Don't take it out on House. I'm not here to talk about House and Cuddy. Breathe. Okay. In the final episode, he hallucinated about Cameron. And Cameron gave him the solution. As usual, because she usually did. If you go back and watch the House episodes in which Cameron is part of the differential diagnosis, you will see that 9 times out of 10, she is the one who leads him toward the correct diagnosis. Just a little FYI. And that is why I think House Cameron are so fabulous. They had that sexual spark, they had that chemistry, they had that give and take. House treated her with respect. He respected her as a doctor. She respected him as a doctor. She did not expect him to change, unlike some other people did. And she didn't see that there was anything wrong with him because he always did what was right. And I found that interesting that she said that, because the only thing he wanted his father to say to him was, you did the right thing. And she was continually telling him that he did the right thing. House writers, you fucked it up royally. And now I'm done. House Cameron. Best ship ever. No other ship ever compares to them. I've looked. No. See you tomorrow.